You know, we're all curious what's behind that door, especially when we go to the kitchen or a restaurant. What's really going on behind the kitchen doors? We're going to start to find out as the famed Chef Pascal takes us with some of his friends behind that forbidden door. Welcome, Chef.
Well, thank you. Good to be here. And I don't know if we learned some secret or some private
Secrets.
things. We don't know because, we try to keep things behind the door. So
Is that the goal? Always keep it behind
let's
the door.
open the curtain on the door and we'll see what Chef Paul and his wife Dana Buchannan, is that correct?
Buchannan.
Buchannan,
Yeah.
yes. And
Or Chef Pascal says, Buchanan.
Buchanan.
I like the way he pronounces it.
Yes, chef. And then we have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions for them. And I know Chef Paul for about 30 years. I think
It's been a long time.
it was in 94, 95. You work for me. And
Yeah.
You have an amazing resume. And you work for several of the top chefs in the country. And I won't say all the name, but you can check their website, and then there's everything about where they come from, where they've been learning from. And but now they run Dana and Paul a catering company, and very set apart of the catering company because of their vision about what we should eat, how we should eat, a good way of a good lifestyle. And we'll come to this question to either save the environment and be proper with the way we live.
I felt embarrassed because I usually put out little plastic water bottles for the guests, and we quickly had to remove those.
This is it.
I will not be seen in a room with a plastic water bottle.
And good for you.
But drink it before you trash it. Okay? All right. So your company already says a lot. It's say Primal Alchemy.
Alchemy.
Catering and event. So, what make you come up with this name?
I was in culinary school in California Culinary Academy in San Francisco, and I was in one of the classes, and we read this book called On Food and Cooking by Harold McGee, and he was a food writer, and he was writing about some of the the myths in cooking. If you have an avocado and you're making guacamole and you put the pit in there, it'll keep it from turning brown. But that's really just where the pit hits it because it keeps the air from touching it. But the wives' tales of these different kinds of cooking. But he mentioned that cooking is the primal alchemy, so that's basically the first science that man practiced. Was he had some meat or vegetables or whatever near the fire, and they smoked it, and they were preserved by that smoke or salt or whatever it was. The first cooking things got a little bit better with fire. So that's primal alchemy. It's all back to the basics of cooking with fire.
So you mix chemistry and cooking. And
Yes.
It's a natural
And
chemistry.
magic, because alchemy was magic. You took lead and turned it into gold
That's
somehow.
right.
I know,
That's right.
but we're talking about just food, not other stuff.
Yeah. Well, we turned food into gold, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
there's a fun story about the name. When we first started, almost 25 years ago, we were working on our first website, and our website designers, we told them the name, and they said, "That's the most awful name I've ever heard. Nobody's going to know what you do. Why did you pick this name?" And we told them, and we would not compromise on the name because he just thought nobody would know. And we thought, you know what, we're gonna weed out the customers that don't get that.
Yeah.
And it's worked. And now all the millennials and Gen X's and think it's the best name ever. They're like, that is the
It is.
coolest name. So we were, I guess, ahead of the game.
You were ahead of the game, yes, and congratulations for sticking to it. And because this is actually, sadly, what set you apart and you are leaders. You're leaders in this type of philosophy of cooking and serving food, and you use that in different ways, not just in catering ways. You use that for the way you are involved in growing produce and vegetables. Can you talk about that?
Well, I've always liked to, garden and stuff. My parents had a garden when I was a kid, and so every place that I grew up, I, kind of planted this and that. And I didn't get into cooking right away. I mean, I like to cook, but I thought if I had to do it for a living, I would hate it. So, I was in a completely different, job all the way until I was 30, and then I finally said, okay, I'll go to culinary school. And but I think, growing your own stuff, I mean, that's the most control. And if you have a pluot or a plum you pulled off your tree, you can give it to your neighbor, or sometimes I just have it in my car as I'm driving around, and I have extras, and I just hand them out to friends and people that,
you grab it from your neighbor's tree too.
Well, if it's hanging over the fence, sure, yeah, of course. If it's on the side, if it's hanging over on the sidewalk, it's available. I mean, I really started walking in my neighborhood a lot when I had, a young child, and I was, with the stroller going back and forth to kindergarten or wherever, or just going to go out. And so I always saw these trees that were just raining down fruit, and the bugs and the birds were getting them, and the people weren't eating them. So I'll knock on their door and ask them, and it says, "You have these figs. How about if I bring you a couple jars of fig jam?" And I pick them, and they said, "Okay." And so that started about 14 years ago. Maybe I started picking trees and making my own jams, jellies, marmalades, and so when I'm serving them for our catering company, it's something I didn't have to go buy it. We made it. So as many things as we can make possible. We use from charcuterie to pickles, marmalades, jams, all the...
Yeah, we will go to your charcuterie production and knowledge, but it's very important also. Can you tell us, first, you're in Long Beach, right? Close to the ocean, close to, what's the name of the pier there?
The Belmont Pier, and the Belmont Memorial Plaza or something.
Belmont Memorial Veterans.
Amazing location,
Yeah.
You breathe the ocean when you go to work, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And,
We're probably the only catering kitchen in the country that has a view of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
and of the mountains. So
And the mountains.
From where I'm sitting cutting, looking out the window, I can look down the street and see the Cleveland National Forest, and up on the mountains, and then I can see the ocean. Sometimes Catalina, if it's a good
And
day.
I have to say, not that your kitchen is totally open to the outside, but it's open because you can look at it through the windows. It's like if we do window shopping to see how caterers are operating, now they can watch you cooking there.
Yeah.
Except for sometimes if he's breaking down a pig and vegans walk by, that doesn't work too well.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I wanted to, what he didn't add on to the urban orchard thing, we actually walk the neighborhoods, and he started on his phone a map of what trees were where, when they were ripe, so that we could go back and harvest. But we can always get permission. We always get permission. But we started doing that.
Don't
like you said.
don't share it because it may be coming
No,
too
it's
late.
on his phone. Nobody
Yeah,
has it.
good,
It's on his
good,
phone.
good.
But also, I grew up growing everything, and
Wonderful.
and in San Gabriel Valley, in the middle of orange groves and
Yeah.
strawberry fields, and my mom used to go out to Loma Linda
Oh.
to buy produce and meats that didn't have hormones in them, and
Yeah, yeah.
so I've been eating very clean and
It's
close to the
amazing.
earth since I was born. So
But you also create an urban garden, a community garden. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have, Long Beach has several community gardens throughout the city. And so we've been involved doing that for a while. But there's one right down the street from me, Zaffaria. It started with wild oats, that market. They gave us about $1,000, and they said, okay, you can start. We planted a few trees, and we put a lot of mulch in there. And Dana designed, where the plots would be, the 10 by 10s, 20 by 20s, 10 by 20s, and everybody, if you're living in Long Beach, you can get one. And
Wow.
you just pay every 6 months, a fee, and then you can grow anything you want in there. But our our garden, all those gardens are try to stay organic as possible. You know, we don't want to really use a lot of, you know, you don't see Miracle Grow there or anything like that, but we use a lot of, you know, worm castings and all kinds of things that are more natural for fertilizer.
But so I think it's great because you eat fresh, you grow fresh, so you're farm to table way ahead of time. And but is it not a great community feeling when you go there and you see other people and sometimes you can chat and you exchange tips? How do you grow this? Why your strawberries are doing so well and not mine? You know.
There's Long Beach is a very, very diverse community.
Yeah.
We have, I think, 128 languages spoken in our city, and therefore our community gardens. And the one he's speaking of is run by Long Beach Organic, which was founded by Dr. Charlie Moore, who's a scientist in plastics and discovered the Pacific Gyre and that whole thing. But anyways, Long Beach Organic. And the beauty of the garden, the community gardens in Long Beach, is that you have, you know, Paul, one place, and next door is a Cambodian person, and then a Vietnamese person, and then a Mexican person, and then you have all these different cultures working together and growing different foods that are culturally driven, but also sharing what to do for pesticides, you know, not using pesticides.
We all give lots of tips to each other, and then
and trade, you know, greens.
Oh,
you know,
vegetables,
like,
And that's a
what
good
is,
thing
what is
too.
that? How do you cook that? You know?
Because diversified growth is even better for the environment and
Yeah.
for make the soil even better. So if you need a couple of pieces of lemongrass, you know where to get it.
yeah, I've got the
On our
neighbors for
deck.
that, and we have an orchard there, and we have bees there too. So we have
Oh.
we have beehives as well, so they help pollinate everything, and that's just our little one that we've been at for, you know, I don't know
Quite
what,
a while.
a while,
But we
20
also
years.
have what we call a kitchen garden that's actually at our office. So it's really our office garden, where we grow a lot of garnishment things that we use for our passing trays and things like that, and flowers that we add to salads.
Yeah,
and
marigolds and lavender that we use for lavender
Yeah.
lemonade. I mean, lots.
And don't you have an event, but just for the community, like a yearly event?
We have the Long Beach Urban Farm Dinner. This will be our 15th year this year. It's on October 5th, and it's always on a Sunday because, you know, chefs are working, and I don't want to ask them to be able to, you know, take a Friday or Saturday night off away from their restaurant. So, but we have had up to 21, 22 different chefs sometimes at these events, and they're all focusing on local, seasonal, sustainable. We try to bring in, you know, other farmers and join them, and you know, local pig or local, you know, lamb or whatever, something. So that way we're focusing on those local products and trying to get them inspired to bring their sous chefs and other people in the kitchen so they can get exposed to that kind of cooking, I think.
Good. And
the chefs have more fun than the guests.
I think
I have to
because
tell you,
they-
he gets phone calls like, "When is it going to be this year? You know, we're
I,
coming."
I think there's some liquid food.
Yeah, there's definitely. It's like a band of pirates in the kitchen, for sure.
Cheers to that. And so before we go to you mentioned pig because you do charcuteries. You know, we're going to go there. You talk about this chemists that talk about the non-degradable product like plastic and things like that. I remember we had because we are part of the Orange County chef community, and you stand up on the podium on the microphone, and before the events, you really shout out to the chef, say, all right, we're going to serve 300 and 350 guests. Can you make sure you don't use any plasticware or any to the chef? Can you make sure you have biodegradable everything, napkin, fork, knife, plates, glasses? Do you remember that?
I do remember it, yeah.
And that was fantastic that you said that to other chefs, because not too many chefs are thinking that way.
No.
And there's, okay, I know some options. Can you give us to the public the options to be environmental friendly?
Well, I think
That's a
anything
big
that's
can of
yeah, it's a
worms.
big can of worms because there's a lot of greenwashing, and so you'll see straws that say this is compostable, but they don't tell you, and maybe in the fine print, that it's compostable if it was in a commercial facility, high pressure, high heat, which is not available everywhere. But I mean, the smartest thing to do is just using something that you're going to reuse over and over again, hundreds of times. Real glassware, real plates. Reuse is the ultimate. So, in all of our events, we're renting plates and forks and knives and shot glasses, and those are the vehicles that you're getting to use, and then they will be washed and used over and over again. You're going to lose a few. You're going to break a few glasses, just like in a restaurant, but that's better than if you can't do that, then paper cups. Paper cup is biodegradable, and it's biodegradable is probably better than using the word compostable because it will go back to dirt. So the options for plastic plates is fallen leaf, which is palm leaf plates, or
Which are beautiful, by the way. Too.
Yeah.
I think they're gorgeous.
and they're really nice, and they're all different sizes, and they're pressed out. It's just steamed and cut out and then dried. It's naturally water resistant. It's very durable, and it'll break down in the compost. Or sugarcane pulp, which is called bagasse. So if you see something that's called bagasse, that's a byproduct of the sugar industry, and so that's that pulp, from all the stalks, and then it's kind of an off-white. It's not very white, but it's kind of an off-white, and then they form that into all kinds of plates. So that's probably better than anything else. But
These are great tips, and actually, it's like when we shop for a canned sauce or thing like that. Read the label. The same thing when you buy this type of wares. Make sure you buy the right one, and also put it in the right bin when you put them in the trash.
Yeah.
And because actually it's pretty be good for environment.
I think the first thing to do is to become conscious.
Yes.
Become aware of what you are using, what you're doing, where are you sourcing. If you have raspberries on your plate and you're flying in from Chile, that's probably not the thing to use. And that's the basis of seasonal cuisine, and then local. How far are these things coming to you? Where are they coming from? So that's important. And then sustainable is the part where, are you using a real plate that you're washing, or are you using a bagasse plate or a fallen leaf plate? Yeah. And where does it go after the event? Where does it go? Our event industry is an extremely wasteful industry. We speak nationwide to event planners and other caterers on how to be sustainable and how to do sustainable events. But also, we talk to event planners and nonprofits and people that actually create events for fundraisers and things and corporate events, whatever. It's our job to teach them how to make sure their events are sustainable by putting sustainability in their RFPs. You're allowed to demand that the event be sustainable. Okay. And keep the little tiny plastic cup with the little tiny plastic fork. Don't use
that
those.
Next time we have a
Don't
charity.
use those. I mean, every time we go into an event and there's thousands lined up, it's like, you can do that a different way. Yeah. And I think it's just being conscious and being aware of where things come from and where they're going to go to afterwards. It's the whole lifespan.
Did you just get, it's not the first time, but a national award about what you do?
Yeah, we there's a nationwide event called Cater Source and Special Events. And it's all event planners and chefs and caterers and folks that are vendors for events, so rental companies and flatware, whatever, and we gather once a year and have actually it ends up being a 5-day conference if you add Art of Catering to it.
The ACE Awards.
The ACE Awards is the Achievements in Catering, and for the first time in 2024 they had an award for sustainability. They've never had it before. And we were shocked that they even had it. Like, yay, finally, after so many years of being the kind of the Lone Rangers out there. So we applied and we won the first one in 2024.
Congratulations.
And then we won the second one this year in 2025. So
and a little more competition, and that's good because we want to have more and more people, have that in their business, so that they're thinking about it.
I think, and let's brag about it, because it's very important. Because other chefs, when they look at you, or the people in the food industry say, hey, there's something there we can be recognized for. And there's not many of you actually in Orange County. I know another one, but to go to that extent, you are amazing. And you won't give up. You committed. Boom. Yeah.
And our ethos also is to share it, because if we're in a silo, it's not helping.
Yeah.
Because part of being sustainable is making sure that you're dragging other people along with you, and you're educating and teaching.
That's the only way
Yeah.
we will try to clean up our environment
Yeah.
and protect our future. And talking about future, protect the future of a new generation. You are involved in schools as well, and I really love that.
Yeah.
Can you
Well, Days of Taste was American Institute of Wine and Food had the program, and it was teaching fourth graders like where food comes from, and you show them real food on the table, and then all this boxed food that has all these ingredients in it, and so the kids how many drink Coca-Cola? They raise their hands and say, okay, how many of you like phosphoric acid? And then their hands go down. They said, okay, well, I'm going to have you read the can that says phosphoric acid. It doesn't sound like something you should put in your stomach. So, I mean, a lot of those things were just sugar water, but it got better and better every single year, less hands raised. And then I had, people come to me. This one gal was probably about 6'2", blonde, just gorgeous. And she says, Chef Paul, you taught me, in fourth grade, and I haven't had a soda since then. And it's like, that's... that's really endearing, right?
About processed food.
The similar thing. You're teaching them, and you're introducing them to the farmers at the farmers market, and then we would take them to a restaurant, and they would make their own salad. They make their own salad dressing. We gave them recipes. Gave them a healthy cookie recipe, with dark chocolate and oats and walnuts, and so they could make a nice healthy cookie for themselves at home. And some of the parents were probably not too happy that we empowered the kids to go home, have their moms open their pantry and say, we can't have Sunny D anymore, Mom, because that stuff's horrible for you.
And they put it in the trash.
And they put it in the trash.
It's not even real orange juice.
Yeah.
But so day one is a didactic day where it's classroom style, and we teach them about don't eat in the back of your mom's sous vide. Sit down, set a table, light a candle, and dine. Because these days kids they're not exposed to that much. And then also what real food is, because there's all kinds of greenwashing and obviously in boxed food, and just because it's called natural does not mean it's organic. And we teach them
Natural is just to attract you.
We teach them how food companies market to them and try to fool them. And we say, but we know you're smarter than that. Like, you'll be able to figure this out, because they're counting on you not figuring it out. And you'll buy that thinking it's organic, and it's not. So we really teach them.
Well, it's organic, and then you look in the back and there's some food growing.
It's like if there's 15 ingredients in there that you can't pronounce, it's not food. And he always asks, he holds up an apple and he says, what's the ingredients in this?
Lines.
What's the ingredients in this? And everybody goes, an apple. And he goes, what is
ingredient.
it? It's an apple.
Pure apple juice.
It's an apple. So it's a really good program.
And it's much better to eat an apple and get the fiber and everything instead of just drinking it, because then you just get the sugar. So
So do you do your local school listen to your advice?
Our school district is very difficult to get through to, because they're programmed to feed them very commodity foods. Where there's a slow change across the country that some schools are doing.
Ann Cooper. Ann Cooper's a rock star.
Yeah, Ann Cooper's a rock star. She has an organization that she's worked on for years to try to bring better food to the schools.
Scratch cooking back in the schools.
Yeah.
San Diego School District has got it figured out.
How can we do to help to raise the awareness of the school district to just please help us helping the kids?
There has to be somebody at the school district who makes it their passion project.
That's a champion.
Be the
Yeah.
champion, because unless you have buy-off from the top down, it's very, very difficult to have parents bubble it up from the bottom, because there's nobody
Well,
championing
because
it.
they're not supported.
No.
Right.
And
But they can go to this. They can go to the board meetings. I mean, if you,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
over and over you get a group to show up and say we're demanding you have better food for our children, and they show up to the board meeting, eventually they're going to listen. But you have to show up. So
Yes.
you have to have somebody passionate to lead that charge.
All right, we talk about garden. We talk about you picking fruit from the neighbor's tree. Or, yeah.
You didn't say stealing. That's good.
no, picking up before they drop on and no,
Yeah.
because I don't know. It's sad when you see a good ripe fruit
Yeah.
that you came too late and it's right there. Well, it's okay. It's good for the hands, but on the bees. But our audience may think, oh, he must be vegetarian or vegan. Actually, they are not. All right, and you can have some great protein from animal protein on following the the proper farming, and you're good at charcuterie. You are an expert on charcuterie. Actually, I think you got recognized for that as well.
Well, we've taught that also at the Cater Source seminars every year. We can teach different things. I teach pickling or charcuterie, or I think we do more what people. They recognize charcuterie. I mean, it's very popular now. But before, I mean, when I worked for you,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I don't think anybody really knew what that was. Maybe you.
But we met some rillettes already.
Oh, yeah.
On the confit, or
Sure. So that is charcuterie. And then to me, I probably do more salumi. So I do more Italian style because it's a lot of whole muscle.
We're talking about hanging, cured meat on aged and dried. Correct?
Yeah. And people think you're saying salami, and I said no. Salami
Salami,
is ground meat in a
Yeah.
casing that's dried as
Yeah.
well. But it's salumi is like the whole Italian family, similar to charcuterie, but they don't have as many force meats or pates or terrines
No,
in Italy. They
Could
don't.
be a prosciutto.
Yeah.
It could be a
Sopressata, Finocchiona,
Right.
whatever.
And,
Exactly.
yeah, Coppa, Fiocco. You've had so many of them, and when we were asked to do these charity events, I just brought whole mussels
samples, yes.
and a slicer, and I said, here you go, because
You serve the best fat.
Lardo?
Ever.
the lardo.
Lardo. Can you tell me a little bit, tell us about lardo?
Well, mangalitzas are a variety of pig that got brought over, several years ago, and then I got recognized, I guess, by Los Angeles Times. There's an article you can search for it about charcuterie. When I got my first mangalitza, it was very, very small, and then years later, I had somebody that raised one here in California, and they're 300. This was a 300-pound pig that they brought to my kitchen, and already dressed and everything, but still, I
have to say your kitchen is not that big, so it took a lot of space.
I break it down by hand and divide it into all the parts, and we use everything head to tail, and then all the bones are going to go into a stock pot, and so they're all used for different things, but majority of it is whole mussels that I can store and cure and spice up different ways. So.
I have to say, because of our relationship, you asked me once once you process all this meat, you asked me once if I wanted to put my hand on a few and buy some, and you pack things perfectly, and and they last long time because the way you pack it, and then it's so good. You have a whole selection of cuts and curing and things like that. So, are you still doing that?
I think the last one was maybe 2 years ago, but we were doing futures, like a meat share program where you would buy in and you'd say, okay, I'm going to give you, $200. That's my portion, and I can only sell so many because the pig is only so big. And what I do is everybody that buys a share, they're basically paying for the pig, the processing and things like that. And then I'm giving them vacuum sealed packages. Like I think I have a picture of you with all your, stuff
spread.
that you had spread out, with all the different things. And then it's like all good olive oil or anything else. You want to keep it away from the sun and the light. And so we do pack them like that, and you're going to keep them in your refrigerator. But
Was
it's
fabulous.
those cured meats are great. But you're talking about the lardo that came from that
lardo,
one
yeah.
Mangalitsa pig. So it was, what is it, 2013? I don't know. It was probably an 8-year-old lardo that we had just
Man.
cured, vacuum sealed, wrapped it in foil, so no
Solid
light
fat.
damage.
Lardo is pure fat.
Pure fat, yeah, because Mangalitsas have a really, really big
Melts
fat.
on your tongue.
Yeah. But I think all those kind of meats like that are just best by themselves. I don't want to put mustard on it. I don't want to put it on a cracker.
Even if you go to Italy, they don't give it to you. They don't want to share.
Oh,
No.
yeah, like that. Yeah.
They give you here's some prosciutto, but the lardo is for us,
Yeah.
And I used to go into my little stack and then enjoy my own treat, What's your thinking, if you can say that, because I don't want you to make too many enemies, about why people eat part of the pig? They all eat bacon, but they don't eat the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're gonna have an animal, and you're gonna butcher it, you want to be able to enjoy all those parts. I mean, a cow is just not filet mignon and ribeye steak. So as a chef, you need to learn how to cook the tongue and some of the offals that Dana had when she was young, and I never had. I had TV dinners. I mean, my mom was like, here's your TV dinner, sitting in front of the TV and eating the little Pillsbury, steak or whatever it was, and
I grew up eating
and she grew up eating
scrambled eggs and brains.
Why the change?
All
Now
the
I know why
kidneys,
you
everything. Like I ate
why
all the
you-
offals.
Wonderful.
Everything.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And do you still cook some?
Yeah, I like kidney. I like livers. I like we
Tongue.
tongue, heart, tongue. I love tongue.
Can we
Lengua.
find kidneys somewhere?
Well, I get
If you
two
get a
with
whole
every
animal.
pig, but that's it. It's hard
I mean,
to
you don't
hard
wanna
to find
eat-
them.
You don't want to eat those in excess either. But
No.
Yeah.
but the thing with meat in general is that you don't need to eat a 16-ounce steak all by yourself.
No.
It's just not smart. So
Usually my wife and I, we share
you
8
share-
to 9 ounce
yeah,
steak.
and then
that's a lot
And the
still,
beauty
yeah.
of charcuterie and salumi is that you can eat literally
Grams.
grams
Mm-hmm.
and have it be super flavorful and easy to eat and lovely and have it that way, and not have to eat. You don't have to eat huge portions
And
because
it's a
it's
good
just not good for
protein.
you.
Yeah.
What I teach the kids was you should be eating half as much meat as you're eating and should be paying twice as much for it. And people get so upset because they go like, well, I can't pay, $10 a pound when I'm getting it for $5 a pound. No, you should be paying $10 a pound at the farmer's
And you
market
get half of it.
from farmers
good
market,
thing,
from
yeah.
direct from Diamond Mountain Ranch
Well-
or Buy Ranch Direct or something. You'll go to the farmer's market, find the fish person, find the meat person,
Yeah.
and then you're more connected with where the
Yes.
animal's being raised.
And this is to resolve a lot of issues: health, good eating, but also help the farmers to be raise actually the animals properly. We have to help them as well, because if we don't pay for it, they're not going to take that good of a care to raise the animals. And so, how often do you eat your own charcuterie?
Oh gosh,
Couple
probably
times a week,
maybe.
maybe.
Because we'll first of all, I'm using it mostly just for our own catering, for
Yeah,
Primal Alchemy
yeah,
catering.
yeah.
So our grazing boards are artisan cheeses, but all the charcuterie, mostly it's what we're having. I mean, if the budget is a little lower and I can't really put a lot of mine out there, I will supplement it with like some finocchiona or something that I buy,
Yeah.
that just to have a salami that I can cut a little more, because salami is something dear to my heart, because it's very difficult to make salami in a small amount like that, and to have it come out. So I only use those for just catering for special occasions, so or
So
personally.
if I'm putting together catering an event for some reason, family, friend, they can ask for charcuterie and grazing trays. And
Sure. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So we do a lot of grazing trays or grazing boards because if you have an event and you have 50 people over or 100 people over, you're going to have gluten-free, you're going to have vegetarians, you're going to have vegans, you're going to have people that can't have nuts. So on a grazing board, they're able to say, oh, I'm not going to have the bread or the crackers, but oh, there's these gluten-free crackers that are marked, so she makes these nice labels on there so you can see what that is. And then everything you have on there, you can get, oh, here's plenty of vegetables, or if you like the meats, or if you like the cheeses, or if you want the dips. I mean, we have just something for everybody all the way down the end, and the pickles and jams.
You make your own pickles too?
Yeah, we make our own pickles, but pickled everything. I mean, purple. We had purple carrots last night at our event. Ribbons. We make them in long ribbons of purple, and then we spice each carrot differently. So we have a yellow carrot that's more like Moroccan, Persian flavors, and then we have the other carrots be something different. So we have different flavor profiles for each.
Did you not take some pickling classes or something? I think? Remember?
Yeah, well,
He's
we're
a master preserver.
master
Yeah.
preserving
Master
classes.
preserver. So all the preservation techniques, basically.
Yes.
But I wanted to just have to get this in here because it's one of my pet peeves. I'm so glad that this term grazing table exists because charcuterie, especially during the pandemic, became a catch-all word for anything you want to put on a cutting board.
Yeah.
Like, so there was donut charcuterie and there was,
Yeah.
whatever people wanted to do. And it's like, no,
No.
charcuterie is the cured meats. That's it.
Yeah.
The rest of it is accompaniments, artisanal cheeses, mustards, whatever it is, but it's
Cheese
not
is not
charcuterie.
charcuterie.
It's not charcuterie.
No.
So
Yeah.
people get that right. It's not charcuterie unless it's a meat.
Yeah.
That would be fromage.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Wonderful. Yes.
I'm listening to this fascinated.
Oh, by the way, this is Paul, our producer. He has a question. He's been.
I'm trying to be good.
task.
I'm trying to be good. Where could you get lardo? I can't imagine, other than buying it
From
making
me.
it, whatever, from you. But could I go to a restaurant anywhere and order lardo in Southern California? I've never seen it on a menu.
I have seen it on a few menus, maybe,
I have too, but
but
very
it's
few.
very rare. I think lardo's really popular if you just have a grilled piece of really good French bread or sourdough bread, and then they just lay the slice of thin lardo on top of it.
Little ground pepper.
Yeah, a little ground pepper or something
Yeah,
like
it
that.
kind of just melts into the bread.
Yeah, because
Because you're talking about stuff that's obviously traditional cooking in Italy.
Well,
Yeah.
not cooking yet.
curing.
Cured
Yeah.
meat.
I think if you went to a deli, a good Italian deli,
I
they
would say
probably
maybe one place you can find it is at Italy.
Italy. Yeah,
Italy?
that's right. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's
that
it
may
called?
be.
Italy in Los
Italy.
Angeles is an Italian place with all kind of meats and.
That was
small-
Mario Batali, right? That
Yes.
helped
And
start all that.
is it? How do you spell it? Eat, just like
Italy
Like
instead
the
of
word
Italy.
eat. All right, Italy.
E-A-T.
L-Y?
Yeah.
And the
they
same
have-
thing with pickling. I grew up, my grandmother and great grandmothers would pickle in the Midwest. Anything, everything. But that's a lost art. I don't know anybody who knows how to
That's
pickle
that's the
anymore.
best way, especially when you grow, you have a vegetable garden, and you want to make preserve for the winter.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's
And
what
you
they
have
do.
excess, right? Because
Yeah, you
all
have
the
excess.
zucchinis come at once, all the cucumbers come at once.
Yeah.
And
And-
alchemy. It's alchemy.
It's
Again.
it is.
It's alchemy.
And you can also make a mix of pickling vegetables, pickled vegetables. I love it. It's a good seasoning. It can be spicy and not spicy, and sweet and sour. Yeah.
What we're growing for the second year is mouse melons. These little tiny gherkins. They're about this big. and
Mouse melons,
They
I've
look
never-
they look like watermelons, but
So-
they're about this
For
big.
mice.
Smaller than
Yeah.
smaller than cornichon.
Yeah,
It is
they're-
smaller than a
they're
cornichon. It's about the
tiny.
third the size of a cornichon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
They're like-
but it looks like a watermelon. It has stripes on it and everything. But we use those and we pickle those and use those on our
So
charcuterie.
you
ones.
grow those?
Oh yeah, I have. I could have
That's at our
brought you.
office-
I
that's
could have
our
brought you
office
100
Yes,
of them.
you have some in
I should
your
have brought some
bags?
with me. I
Yeah,
didn't.
we're always looking for samples here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, speaking of sourcing, we have visited a lot of the farms and ranchers that we source from. We've camped on their farms. We go out there, we check them out, and know them. I mean, they're our friends.
Yeah,
So it's not just a vendor to us.
So, talking about farm, is there any farm in Orange County that really going with that type of philosophy?
Smith Farms, I think is. I'm not sure if they're 100% organic. I think they are, but Smith Farms is a big farm, and they're at the farmers markets.
Yes.
A lot of the other farmers are up in Ventura, or they're down towards San Diego.
Tehachapi,
Yeah,
Fallbrook.
Tehachapi a lot. I mean, for Wiser
Wiser.
Family Farms is like one of our favorites, and
Alex grows the best melons. They're in the farmers
Oh,
market
oh, right now?
Go get
Ooh,
Alex's
phenomenal.
melons
That.
Yeah.
You know,
right now.
my watermelon or melon?
no,
no,
all the
French-
different
French
French melons and cantaloupes, cantaloupes,
So
honeydews.
cantaloupe, I'm talking about charcuterie and cantaloupe, cured ham, like
Just wrapped it
prosciutto
around there?
with a nice sweet melon
Yeah.
slice. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
salad
two
there.
ingredients,
The-
perfect
The
marriage right
French
there.
love that. You
I'm
don't
going to
need
sound
bread,
totally illiterate again here. I didn't know there's lots of kinds of melons here. I thought
Oh
you
yeah,
go to the
man.
store,
you
I
have
see
cantaloupe,
3,
you have
know.
melon.
Yeah, there's probably at least 6 different kinds at
Yeah.
Wiser Farms at their farmers markets now. We
The-
have a farmers market every day of the week except for
wow.
Monday in Long Beach. And when I met Dana, we had one. We had a Friday market, that was it. And now we have markets that are, our Sunday one is gigantic, fantastic, and has
Yeah, I mean, people really need to go support the farmers markets,
yes.
and just because they don't have the certified organic sign in their little booth does not mean that they're not organic, because it's
It's
so
expensive.
expensive. It's so expensive to get certified
Yes.
organic. Just talk to your farmer about how they grow. What do you use? What do you do? What are your methods? And then, most of them are organic. They just can't afford to pay for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
So
know that. When you go
they
there.
have to prepare the
And not
the
everything has to go
soil,
in the
whole
refrigerator,
thing.
right? So-
And and sometimes they have to let the soil resting for several years to put a new crop, and no, they can't do that.
Yeah.
But in France, actually, there's one type of melon and cantaloupe. It's called the caballon, and it's fantastic. And right now, through the summer, everybody want to eat them.
Yeah.
You smell them, say, oh, you can see. No,
You could
that's
smell it
really
without
not-
even
yeah.
cutting it open.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Oh,
just
yeah.
the outside.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's like a giant sweet truffle.
Yeah, the first one I grew was years ago was Charlente, right?
Charlente, yeah.
yeah.
Alex grows those.
Yeah. And then I pulled up to my garden one time and I see this rustling in my garden and there was a squirrel and he had grabbed the melon, he had bit the stem off and he was trying to roll it into the forest, and I chased after him and he went through the chain link fence, but he couldn't get the melon through. He kept on trying to grab the melon and I said,
No.
I
This
snatched it.
squirrel, I have to say,
He knows what's ripe.
one hour they go before.
Right, the day
you
before,
know
you're
it's
gonna
be
pick it.
right. So, like I've been arguing with the squirrel at home for my little tomatoes, and they're still green. And then boom, 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 you see they've been showing on. And then I have 2 vines, beautiful grape. And if I don't pick them up before they get ripe, they'll be gone. And I cannot even make my verjus. It's kind of
yeah.
so it's fantastic. One thing I want to talk to about, you are also involved in several charities, as much as you can do that, and I want to thank you for that. And you are part of a group of chefs in Orange County who do whatever they can, the best, to help great cause. Are you still doing some of this?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, there's been so many over the course of the years. I mean, we're asked as chefs constantly to donate for these things, and and you want to help out. You want to be, we're a community that is supporting that. But even though we don't benefit much from the charity other than the fact that we're giving away. We don't get usually recognized much for it, and you get a chef coat you can wear one night, and I started telling them, look, I can use.
I want to thank you for that, because you've been helping a lot of causes, and maybe one last thing, is there any secret from your kitchen you want to share, or from past experience?
We're going
Yeah.
behind the kitchen door. We're going to take a secret.
I don't want him to say anything when he walks in my kitchen. You never know, I get in trouble.
Well, actually, the seafood sauce that you taught me was
Oh
probably
my
one of the
God.
best secrets, and I've taught that to so many people because, you know, okay, I got a bottle of white wine, Fumé Blanc or something like that, and I dump it in a pan, and then I put some thyme, and I put some, you know, and I put, you know,
Shallots.
2 shallots, but
Shallots.
then I put 2 shrimps, you know, and 2 scallops, and I put 2
Muscles? Yeah.
in a pot, and then I'm reducing that down au sec, you know, just, and then I have cream, and then all those flavors, the acidity, and then the cream, and then all that seafood flavor makes just an amazing seafood sauce that I've used so many times, you know,
That stuff
and then just strained it off, and that's it. Season it a
amazing.
little bit, you're ready, you know.
Amazing.
I need to trademark that sauce.
It was
You
a
do.
great sauce.
You
yeah.
do. You do. It is.
But I've
it
taught,
is-
like I said, I've taught that to so many people just because it's fantastic.
Well, I'm so glad you. This is why you work with several great kitchens in Southern California, to learn. You take things from each chef and you build up your own knowledge, and that's why you become a great chef yourself.
And sometimes you don't learn a recipe. Sometimes you learn business.
Yes.
Because, you know,
Well, it's
like
very important.
I saw how you operated your business there, but I got recipe in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's completely different because you're making your money off the rooms.
What-
So
yeah.
they're buying lobsters and letting them die in the refrigerator, and you're going like, why are you doing this? It says, oh well, we have lots of money. We don't have to make money on the food because we're making money on the rooms. So
On a side note,
Yeah.
talking about business, is this why you work with your wife? Because she take care of the business?
she helps a lot for sure. You know, because when I started out, she had her own business
Yeah.
that she ran and grew successfully to
Did you tell her sometime, get out of my kitchen? Or...
I don't go in the kitchen.
Oh, here you go.
I don't go in the kitchen. We have very complementary skill sets.
Yeah, yeah.
That it works for us. So
Yes.
we definitely have our realms that we stick to. I'm mostly marketing, sales, that end of it. He's kitchen, runs events. So yeah, it works for us. I mean, it's
This is why I
almost
s-
25 years now. So
This
yeah.
is why I said to our guest last week, because they run a catering business as well, I don't think you can do it on your own. And being having your spouse running you both run the catering business is very important. And I think your clients are also recognizing that.
And I think their kids are going to eventually get probably put into the kitchen. I mean, ours was too. I mean,
Yeah.
Drew was in the
worked
kitchen.
events,
and he knows-
scullery.
Yeah,
Put him
he
in
knows-
scullery, the poor kid.
Yeah,
Hey,
Yeah.
you have to start somewhere.
yeah,
You gotta
and
wash dishes.
delivering during COVID, he delivered
delivery.
and all kinds of things. But
He does not want to go in this business.
He's smart enough to
He's
know
seen how
this is
hard-
not a.
He's seen how hard we work. This is not a business for old people. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's
So-
a lot of hard work.
I
so.
really want to thank you for being so on the top of your game. Also, you're still ahead of time until we have community and everybody be respectful for what they eat, what they use, what they trash, and let's spread the word.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we have like I said, we have lots of events coming up, and next 2 months we're doing Native American feasts, like I did at the Bowers Museum with
Yes.
John Sharp. So we have 2 at the ranchos that are in
Yeah,
Los.
August 10th is the first one at Rancho Los Alamitos, and that is focused on West Coast indigenous tribes. And then on September 7th at Rancho Los Cerritos, we're going to be doing Southwestern cuisine. So, and Paul's designed a beautiful menus for both that are utilizing local ingredients that were used, hundreds of years ago. So
And
super
very
fun.
quickly, I forgot to say, you were, I don't know if you're still involved with the Ecology Center in San Juan Capistrano.
Oh, the first farm dinner that they did.
Yeah, when we went there and did that first farm dinner, then the next year we started the Long Beach Urban Farm Dinner. So that's why we're at 15 years, and I think they're at 16 or
Wonderful.
17 years now,
Great.
maybe.
So one thing, can you give our listener your website?
Sure. It's primalalchemy.com. So that's
And Insta
Not
is-
primary, primal.
primalalchemy.com or at Primal Alchemy
is
at-
Insta.
is Instagram.
We're on
and,
Facebook.
and we're on Facebook. And then Chef Paul Buchanan, you can find me on Facebook as well. And
Wonderful.
yeah. So.
Great. Thank you very much. It
Thank you,
was
Pascal.
a pleasure, and I learned even more
Thank
from
you.
you.
Oh, good.
Well, there you have it. We learned a little something as we peek behind the kitchen doors each and every week with Chef Pascal and his friends from around the community. Join us here on our community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center. And we'll see you next week.